Hey guys, Nuss here with a new Pax Day video. So with the game in full swing, we've been live for a week and 2 days now, I guess. Um, we had a lot of people new to the game coming in with the addition of like the Game Pass and some of the other ways that you can get into the game and stuff. So we've had a lot of new players join the game, and one of the things that I've been seeing is kind of uh, the same questions asked over and over and over again. So I thought I'd put out a video. Some people probably aren't even going to see this, but I figured, what the hey, might help some people, or at least I could point them in a direction when they ask the questions and stuff. So Pax Day, it's an MMO. It's what they call a social sandbox. So one of the first questions I usually get, and it falls into the whole social, well, at least the sandbox part of it. There are no quests in the game, no quest whatsoever. Everything is basically player generated. Your events and all that stuff so far have all been, a group of people in a valley get together, and maybe they have a market day. Maybe they do like uh, a run together to go do stuff or something like that. That's the type of kind of game it is. So you're not going to find, it's not WoW. You're not going to go find Nessing Way and have him tell you to go kill like 20 goats, or you're not going to go pick up a bunch of poop in somebody's field or something because it's alchemically delicious. I don't know. But there's none of that. There's no poop quest. Yay. So right off the bat, no quests. Um, the another big question that we see early on is it safe? Is there PvP? Am I going to put my stuff down and is somebody going to come through and ransack it? That is a big no. It's safe in the Heartland Valley, which is where you're going to spawn. And let me pull the map up real quick so you can see. So this red boundary, see these red boundaries? These are Heartland valleys, like Drager, Bronier, Pladen, Avon, Ewas. Those are Heartland valleys. You can see the big round circle. That's the Petra May. That's where you're going to come into the game at, right? So as long as you're in these valleys, currently there is no PvP. Nobody can run up and like smash your stuff. Now there is going to be some stuff later on with some of the PvP um, stuff that's coming, that when there are alliances formed and stuff and wars declared between two alliances, it sounds like that if you're in a clan that is part of that alliance, you may be susceptible to some of that PvP action. So um, there's not a whole lot of detail on that yet. So a lot of it is just speculation currently. So just keep that in mind. But right now, if you're a noob, you're coming into the game, you don't have to worry about, Bob, your neighbor, coming over and like ransacking your stuff, as long as your stuff is not set to public. When you put chests down and things like that, you'll have the option to mark something as public, private, clan, clan elder, or clan alderman. Um, and the alderman is basically like the clan leader. He's the guy that basically creates the clan kind of thing. So you have a couple levels of permissions on those chests. If you leave something public, then every Tom, Dick, and Harry that runs by can take stuff out of that, which can be useful. Maybe you've made like you're leveling your blacksmithing or something, and you've made a bunch of like bronze pickaxes, and you're like, well, I don't want to throw these away. Somebody can get good use to them. You can put a box out on your front stoop, put a little heart on it. That seems to be like the in-game equivalent of, hey, free to a good home kind of thing. Put your stuff in there, mark it as public, and then when people run by, they're like, hey, and hopefully they'll take one and not like snag everything and down the road with it. But not much you can do about that, right? So for the most part, you're safe in your home valley. There's not even a whole lot of stuff that can kill you in the home valley, other than there are not badgers. There used to be badgers that could whoop your tail, but nowadays it's boars. Will jump you. They're hostile. If you live close to these uh, pine forests, there's a good chance that you might run into a dire wolf, and they will eat you. Other than that, the only other thing you have to worry about is these camps. You can see these towers. These are towers, camps. That is a crafting station place where you can run up and they'll have some crafting stations that you can use. That is a quarry. Usually you find stone and ore and stuff there. That's a little camp. You can see the little cross there. That means that's an Inquisition camp. If you go into, let's see, you go down in here, this little area, this white area, this is called the Pale, and in that area you'll find spirits. So this little circle-ish kind of thing, that is a symbol for spirits. So there are camps and towers with spirits in them. Spirits will wreck you until you get some gear. And if you don't have some friends to back you up, they will totally wreck you. So, and then the other faction, that's stuff that you have to worry about, and you won't see them except like in this type of area. And you'll see the little spider symbol there, or maybe that's a fly. I think it may be supposed to be a fly. That is for the Zebians, and they're kind of like a cannibalistic undead kind of folks that are pretty nasty. They have some spells and stuff that they'll use. The Inquisition has some spells. They have a couple casters. One casts a heal, the other casts a fireball and a fire ring that will set your butt on fire. So keep out for look for those. And those things are also, and this kind of falls into the next category. How do I get gold? We see a lot of people asking, I guess maybe they see markets and they want to buy stuff. So they're like, how do I get gold in the game? You kill these NPCs, these guys, these Inquisition guys in these areas. They will drop, like a level 1 guy will drop 2 or 3 gold a piece, and usually like a random, like a alchemical extract. Sometimes they'll drop silver bars or gold bars and stuff like that. So you kill those guys for gold. If you're going to do these things, you see how, like, so you have these are ruins. So these are Inquisition ruins because they have the little Inquisition sign. So these ruins, so this is a level 1. Those are level 2. Those are level 2. I think there's a level 3 up in Veins. Yeah. So that's a level 3. And those ruins have different level stuff. Sometimes you'll find a level 2. Like I know these guys here, I think both of those are, if you look at the marker for the NPC, it'll have like a level over their head. And if you see a skull, the skull means that is party, that you should use a party to take those guys down. Once you get really well geared, you can probably do a skull level 1. Okay, it'll be a bit of a fight, but you can do it. So like these guys, I think they both have skulls. I think these are all just level 2 or level 3s. These are wolf caves. They have lots of different, there's wolves and another type of wolf called a growler. There is a thing called a named wolf. Here in Bronir, I think this cave should have Bone Breaker or Luna, and they'll spawn in the cave, and sometimes they will spawn up here on top of the mountain. So, and then these Inquisition things, and actually, well, all of these, the bigger, like these towers and stuff, there's a chance of a named mob. Like with the Inquisition, there's Examiner of Tests. There's a couple casters. There's a couple different ones, and they will drop a name sigil, and that name sigil will make you. You can use that to make rare gear, which is really, really nice. It's an upgraded version of the normal stuff. And then you can go further into like dungeons and stuff. Like this V, that means that's a dungeon. So, and that's where stuff gets real. So, So yeah, so that's how you get gold. Then you can use that gold. Maybe you want to be like a crafter or something. You can use that gold to get your marketplace started. Because when you put stuff up on the marketplace, and let me touch on the marketplace. So if you hit this little symbol here, this little mark, that will bring up the Heartland markets. That will show you all the stuff in your Heartland um, that's for sale on a market. So you can go down and say, yeah, hey, this dude is selling animal hooves. I need animal hooves because I'm a leather worker and I need it for glue, right? So click on that. I know he's selling it for 1 gold. Well, where in the world is Hellas? If I hit view location, it'll show you a little map where you are, where that is. And then you can put track location, and that'll put a little marker up in your compass so you can find where Hellas is and you can get your animal hooves. Okay. So, but when you put stuff up in the market, you basically you have to pay. There's a small tax. I think it's like maybe one gold for every like 10 or 20 gold of the selling price is what it costs. So you have a listing price basically. So you have to have a little bit of gold to start selling stuff. So that's how the markets work. And every valley has their own heartland marketplace and stuff. So you might want to like roam around. Like if you're in a valley that's not very populated or something, maybe there's not a bunch of big guilds and you want some of that heavy duty equipment and stuff, you might need to go to a more populated valley and check their markets and see what they have for sale there. So you can see here I've got some consumables. I have food. Food is good for buffing like for like when I'm running now, this is my gathering food. This is for like when I'm out and about, like as I have a mining pick, I've been out like breaking rocks and ore to level my mining so I can get more stuff. Um, so I have what is stamina. It's basically stamina food with stamina regen. So I'm using this golden barley water. I'm using mushroom vegetable stew, and I'm using raisins. And you can see they all have a really high level of stamina regen, and they have pretty decent max stamina on it. One thing to note with food is that, um, like this barley water, there's like 4 or 5 tiers of barley water. I can only use like one item that has like the same stats. So I can't use like a tier 3, a tier 2, and a tier 1 version of the same food. They won't allow you to stack that. You've got to mix and match kind of stuff. So currently there's stamina food, there's health regen food, um, there's some food that has resistances to fire, poison, um, bludgeoning, piercing, slashing damage. So they help give you a little bit of protection versus those types of damage and stuff. So you can mix and match your foods. One thing to note is that they are doing a pretty big rework of the consumables soon. One thing you'll notice is that none of the food consumables has any kind of spirit regen or max spirit on it. I think that's something that they're going to fix later. So keep that in mind. So yeah, these are good to use. Like your consumables are good to use for like when you're out, gathering. You'll want to use like health regen when you're out fighting, or you may mix them and match them a little bit. If you're a tank, you're going to want your stamina because you're going to be blocking, and blocking eats stam. So you're going to want some stam regen plus the health and health regen and stuff. So play with the foods. Find something that works for you. That's what I would say. Death. So when you die in the game, um, death had a big change at 1.0, and basically what happens, and we're in a little bit of a weird place right now because they just disabled one of the things that they implemented in 1.0. So if you die in a Heartland Valley, say I die, like I'm over in these wolf caves and I'm doing the wolves, and all of a sudden the name wolf comes up and and I'm dead. So I'll get a chance to respawn, right? So I would respawn at this Petra here. So this is the Petra May, and these are smaller Petras. These are like when you die, this is where you'll respawn at. Now keep in mind, if I'm like maybe like here, like right here, there's a chance when I respawn, I'm going to respawn here. This is in the Wildlands. So I'll explain the differences here in a minute. So when you respawn in a Heartland, you respawn with all of your stuff. So, I'm going to pop up back here, all my armor, all my weapons, my food, everything in my bags, anything that is wieldable or wearable. So armor, weapons, and all that stuff is going to take a flat 10% durability hit, right? So, let me show you what I mean by durability. So if you look at my pickaxe, you can see that it has two lines there. There's a durability and there's a lifetime. So the durability, as I use my pickaxe, if I use a sword, as I have my armor and I'm dying and all this stuff and I'm using it, the durability will go down to a point where it's 0 and then it breaks. At that point, I need to take that item to the table that it was crafted at. So with tools and weapons, you're going to go to a weaponsmithing table. So like in here, this is up at the Petra May. There's a weaponsmithing table. So if I go and click on the weaponsmithing table, you'll see there's a repair option here. And if this had taken damage, I would click that and hit repair. Now what that does is it fills the durability up at the cost of the lifetime. So once the lifetime hits 0, that pick is on borrowed time. So when the lifetime is 0 and the durability is 0, it's a dead item, and you just take it out of your bag and throw it on the ground and keep on moving. So keep that in mind, especially if you're doing like dungeons and stuff for the first time, and maybe you guys are getting your butts kicked quite a bit. Your equipment's going to take some damage, and it may break on you. When it breaks, you're not getting the benefit of it anymore. Okay, so there are tailoring tables that repair your cloth gear. Like if I got my clan tabard, so you can see that it's taking some durability damage. So if I click repair item, you can see that my durability filled back up and I lost a little bit of the lifetime on it. So that's how equipment decay works in the game and stuff as well. So back to the whole death thing. Sorry, a little bit of a segue there. Squirrel, that kind of thing. So that's what happens in the Heartland. You die, you res back at here. Now, if you're in a party, let me throw this out here. If you're in a party, your friends can res you where you are laying without you having to res back here. So they can do a little thing, click on you, they'll get a resurrect thing on their pop up. They can pull you back up and stuff. There's also, if you look at H, there's summon my body and there's summon friend's body. So maybe you died in the cave and your body is like surrounded by like a named and 4 or 5 things, and your buddy's like, man, I can't get you. He can use that pull body if you're, usually it's within sight. It's more of a distance thing, and you can pull through walls and trees and all that stuff. So, but you have to be so close. So if you pull body, what it does is it grabs your body and pulls it to where your buddy is, and then your buddy can then res you from that spot. So, you can use the other thing. So that's death in the Heartlands. If you die in a wetland, or not the wetlands, if you die in the Wildlands, it's a little bit a different kind of critter. So say I'm over here and I'm fighting these Inquisition guys and I get ganked and like I die. So I spawn back at this Petra here. Now when I spawn back, I'm in my underoos. No clothes, no weapons, no consumables, nothing. I have to run back, and there'll be a little skull mark, which is good because you need to find your stuff. You got to run back from this Petra to your stuff and get it. Now, what happens is like you get there and like there's 12 guys basically walking around your dead body. You can, when you get close enough, you can use the H and do summon my body. So that'll pull your body to you, and then once it pulls it to you, then you can loot all the stuff and put all your gear back on. Okay. So, but in the Heartlands, it's Heartlands and Wildlands are pretty much exactly the same, except when you respawn uh, naked at a Petra. It still works with your friends. Your friends can res you right then and there. You'll just pop back up with all your stuff on you, and you're good to go. One thing I will tell you about death in any place, whatever weapon you had equipped and whatever food buffs you had, um, the food buffs go away. So you'll have to rebuff your food. Your weapon will be unequipped. So immediately, especially if you're in a dangerous place, re-equip that weapon. Otherwise, you'll forget about it. And the next thing you know, you get attacked by that dire wolf and you're like, huh, huh, and you notice that you're trying to do Mike Tyson on the dire wolf and you're going to be back at the Petra again. So keep that in mind. So maybe you're like, hey, I can get down from here. You get down halfway down the side of the cliff, and then you're like, yeah, this isn't going to work, and I'm probably going to fall to my death. You do have an option. It's called Unstuck. Unstuck is available through this little system menu. You come over here, and you'll see Unstuck. Now you can't use Unstuck unless you have all of your stamina. So you're going to want to make sure that your stamina bar is full, right? So make sure that's full, and then you can unstuck. And when you unstuck, you will pop back at a Petra. So say I'm like up here somewhere and I'm down on a cliff and I'm going to die. I can use Unstuck and then pop right there. So one thing you can do, say I'm running, and this is, I'm not going to say it's a cheat, but it's an unintended use of the feature. Say I'm running this road here and I'm really trying to get caught up with my friends up here. So I'm running down through here. Once I get closer to this Petra than I am to any other Petra, I can use the Unstuck feature to kind of fast travel to that point and move on about. Now, Unstuck does have, I think it's either a 30-minute or a 1-hour cooldown. I can't remember. I think it's 30 minutes though. So keep that in mind and use it judiciously. Okay. Going on to one more thing about that with the fast travel. So you will see, let me get up on top of the hill again. So you'll see, like with Bronir, the symbol for the Petra is dark, and Drager and Pladen are dark, and we'll talk about that in a second. That means I have visited those Petras. So through the map, I can click and I can use Grace, which is up here, to travel to that Petra, fast travel to that Petra, right? So Grace is an account bound money thing. You can see I've got 530, and you get so much per day. You can buy some with gold. If you go back up here to the menu thing, you get this little wheel, and you can buy Grace based off your gold. And this is kind of a gold sync type of thing. And like I could buy up to 60 Grace. Now, granted, some of it is because of my this bonus thing here, the premium bonus, so I can get 50% Grace from gold. If you don't have premium, it would be I guess 40. So keep that in mind. Grace is good for like I said, fast travel. It's also good if you hit your H again. You see these crafting and gathering. For gathering, what it does is it increases the yield. So as you're going out, say you're mining, you need a lot of copper and need a lot of tin, you can go over here and hit St. Barbara's Minor Favor, and that'll increase your gathering potential for copper and tin, basically the main thing off those nodes, by about 15 or 20% for 30 minutes. And it costs 20 um 20 grace. So there's foraging. Foraging was basically anything you would pick up off the ground. So sticks, clay, the little chunks of rock that are laying on the ground, berries, herbs, any of that stuff. When you pick those up, that counts as that. The skinning is pretty self-evident, and then you have one for cutting wood and stuff. Because I see a lot of comments about Pax Day being a wood chopping or lumberjack simulator. So yeah. There's also grace miracles for crafting, and what these do is it raises your level of your crafting skill by +1 for 30 minutes, and it's not that it opens up more recipes, but it basically makes it easier for you to succeed on those recipes. So you're crafting as if you were one level higher. So it may make it from moderate to easy, or easy to very easy, or to it can take it from yellow to green. Like if you were very easy, and if one level puts it over into the green for you, then uh you're 100% successful at the level below XP. So you're going to get XP, and it's a 100% chance of you getting that of it being successful and stuff. So one thing, like when you first come into the game, especially if you're new to the game and you don't know a whole lot of stuff, when you come into the Petra like this, um, you'll see there are the crafting stations. If I, me personally, my first thing would be to hit all of these and just look at the recipes that you have. Now granted, like, I have a little bit of tailoring skill currently. I'm like 4 on my tailoring, but it gives you an idea of what you can do with stuff, and what crafters you're going to need to put down, from the get-go. Original for mostly getting started, the first thing you're really going to need probably is this wood chopping block. Now I've had a few people ask, like, right off the bat, like, hey, how do I like make lumber, or how do I basically, like, what do I do with this wood? The wood chopping block is the answer, because that's going to allow you to make planks, wooden beams, and wood stock. And those are the things that you're going to use to make this crafter and stuff. So once you've made a construction hammer, you'll be able to, and you've gathered a little bit of wood, you'll be able to put this wood chopping block down, and then you'll be able to start putting down the rest of the stuff as the recipes open up. Okay. So my first thing, my number one tip basically is, as soon as you pop in, check out all the crafters and stuff. See what stuff you need to make things, and how much and what is going to be involved. And then once you come off of the Petra, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to look for these tree branches. You're going to pick up some tree branches, and you're going to look for some nice rock. Okay. It's a bad nice. So once you pick up some of that stuff, you hit tab, and you'll go to your little crafter hammer here. And like I said, the first thing you're going to want to do is make a construction hammer, skinning knife, stone pickaxe, stone axe, and a pointy stick, and maybe even a wooden shield if you've got all that stuff. Make all of those items. Like, I'm going to make a crafting hammer right now, because half the time I feel naked without a crafting hammer. So once you have the crafting hammer, you hit 8. I'm going to hit 8 to equip it. You can see all the plots around you. A blue plot will mean that is a clan plot, or it is public. A white plot like that means it's set to private and you can't build on it. Blue means you can actually build on it or interact with stuff. So with the hammer available, equipped, I can right click, and you're going to have two options. You're going to have the plots, so you can do plots and you can place plots. You can put a plot down, and that's when you can start building your house. You can put uh, the crafters and stuff down on it. From this area, you can edit the name of the plot. Um, you can set the waypoint to it. You can set the building rights. If you're in a clan, maybe you want to maybe you plan on building stuff for your clan. So you want to be able to have them use the crafters and stuff on your plots. You're going to set this to clan. If you set it to clan, then they can use stuff. Here's the caveat on that. With the current permission systems we have, any clan member can also build or destroy on your clan, on your plot. So keep that in mind. Um, Here's another big question that we also get is like, hey, I've put a plot down, but I don't want it there. I want to move it. That's what the release plot is for. If you hit release plot, this thing will come up big. You womp. Hey, warning, warning. You're about to do something that might be stupid. Then you just type in delete. You hit confirm. Plot goes away. Now, when the plot goes away, anything that's on that plot of yours at that point becomes public. So you're going to want to move quickly to get your stuff where you are, find some friends to help move your stuff, get some chests built somewhere else that's safe, move all your stuff, then release the plot if you can. So that's how all that works. So that's your plot system in a nutshell. That's the 30-second plot explanation. So the other thing other than plots is building. So with the building, you'll see we have construction, we have crafting, and we have furnishings. Furnishings is going to be stuff like chests, little signs, uh, lights, chairs, beds, tables, flower pots, all of that stuff is going to be available once you've learned the recipe. For crafting, this is where you put your crafting tables down. So beehives, water, your armor benches. You can see you get when it's red like that, it means in this situation, one, I'm not on a plot that I can build on, and two, I don't have any of the materials I need to actually build it. So when you go to put something down on your own plot and you're like, why is it red? Check to make sure you got the stuff. So that's usually the cases, especially if you're building a lot of stuff. All of a sudden it'll go red and you're like, and it's because you've blown through all of your resources and you don't have any more materials to put it down. So yeah. So here's all the fletching table, alchemy, and some of the stuff requires you to make um basically tools at the log workbench right here. So the two things you're going to put down first, once you have your plot and stuff and ready to go, you're going to put down a wood chopping block and you're going to put down this log workbench. Those two items right there will make everything else fall into place, because this is going to be where you make your tools. You can make founders items and stuff. This wood chopping block is going to be where you make your planks and boards and all that stuff to make the wood. You can see the log workbench requires 4 beams and 6 planks. So you're going to pop that down, and hopefully you're going to get enough sapwood to make the materials to make that. And then the tools are going to require different materials, cloth, flint, leather, bone bits, stuff like that, stone, perhaps even charcoal maybe. And then once you have that tool, like if you look at the basic weaponsmithing, you got to make the basic weaponsmithing tool. Then I got to have 4 wood beams and 6 planks. The basic weaponsmithing tool, I believe, well, let's take a look at it real quick. We go to the journal and I'm going to type in basic weaponsmithing table right here. So it requires 5 bronze ingots and 2 long wood stock. So I'm going to use those pieces to make the weaponsmithing tool, and it's going to tell you that gets made at the craftsman, the basic forge, And then once I have that, then I'm going to go make the weaponsmith workbench. So make use of the journal. It still needs a little bit of, in my opinion, interface help. Looking at you, mainframe. So anyway, so yeah, so that's how those work in placing stuff. When you've placed something, you can use the, if you look at the little pop-up menu, right click gives you the menu, right? So then you can place. Your middle mouse button is destroy. Um, Destroy is a little strong. It will destroy like wall panels and like floor stuff and things like that. And what it does is it breaks whatever that was, that wall panel, that piece of floor. It'll break it down into its components, the stone, the wood, beams, whatever, and throw that back into your bag as long as you have room. It doesn't, if you don't have room, you'll start seeing crap like all spread out around where you destroyed that wall. For things like furnishings, like chests and stuff like that, those will come back into your bag as a chest, or as a chair or a bed or whatever. The crafting tables will be broken down to the tool and the materials. So if you got questions, ask in your local chat. You can see, we've got here in Bronier, we've got a pretty lively bunch of people always asking questions. Most people are always good at answering questions if they know. Um, there's the official Discord for Pax Day. You can ask questions there. You can always hit me up on my YouTube channels. If I'm available, I will try to answer as fast as I can. So with that, I hope you enjoy the game. I love this game is so much fun for me. And my clan seems to, or Amicidia seems to have a really good time. Most people have a really good time with the game. Um, there's a lot to it. My last tip is, and this has become kind of a mantra that we tell a lot of folks, is this game is not a sprint. It is a marathon. So don't feel like you need to get to wrought iron blacksmithing in 3 days or 4 days, or whatever. Take your time. Enjoy the game. Games are supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be a job. I mean, you can do it. I mean, there are times when I get like so into the game that it's like nothing else matters, and I'm just like grind, 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 grind. And if that's your thing, go for it. But take the time to enjoy it. Enjoy your friends, enjoy your clan members, enjoy the game. Go out and explore. I mean, look at this view. Look at this view, man. I mean, you get up here on top of these places and you look down, and it's like, there are all kinds of places to go explore and see. Now, granted, there's stuff out in some of those places that want to kill you, but take your time. Sneak. Well, you can't really sneak, but when in doubt, run. So, but enjoy the game as much as you can. So that's what it's there for. So with that, I'm going to leave you. If you have questions, please ask. And until my next video, be nice.